So Trae Young is no longer with the Atlanta Hawks, and he is being traded to the Washington Wizards, where he preferred to go for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. Some fans are wondering, how did the Wizards not have to send any draft capital for Trae Young? Well, over the last 3 seasons, if you look at his shooting percentage from the field and 3-point percentage, 43%, 33% from three, 43% from the field, 37% from three, which is good. 41% from the field last year, 34% from three. This year, 41% from the field, 30% from three. Now, I understand he's had injuries, but over the course of his career, he has only shot at 36% from three times in his career. He's only shot above 45% from the field one time in his career. And that's big as a guard because if you're not shooting well from the field, if you can't knock down your 3-point shots, then you're not an efficient guard. Now, he can play make, he can run an offense, but on top of that, he's also not a great defender. So his value isn't as high as other guards around the NBA. Now, can he turn this around in Washington? Absolutely. And I think it's a good move for the Hawks and it's a good move for Trae Young to go out there and play good basketball. He's got that player option where he can opt out after this offseason. Now, the Wizards do intend on keeping him around to build around the young core. I think if Trae Young can come in and just have a good time with this roster, there's a lot of nice young pieces on the Wizards that I do like a lot, like Alex Sarr. I think he could be really good for this league. You've got Kaishan George, who's looking like a stud, averaging 15 points, and I believe he'll get better. Trey Johnson, the rookie, knockdown shooter. Coulibaly, I don't know if I said his name right, but a nice wing. There's some good players, and you still have Chris Middleton as a nice veteran for the Wizards. So he can show them the ropes, be a professional. That brings a lot of value, even if he's not as good as he used to be. That does help a lot for a team trying to get better and learn how to win basketball games. And CJ McCollum on the team was helpful as well. So the goal for the Wizards going forward is just to have a nice stretch with Trae Young. If they can have a stretch where they win 7 of 10 or they close out the season, let's say they go 12-6, then you have a sample size to work with. And then you go into the offseason, you've got some money available where you may be able to get another player. Now you look at the Atlanta Hawks side of things. You're building around Jalen Johnson. You got those draft pick swaps between the Bucks and the Pelicans, whatever. I think it's whatever first round pick is worse. That's what the Hawks will get. I'm not trading that. There's reports about them going after Anthony Davis. I'm not doing that either. The reason why I am standing pat for the Hawks is because it's a young team, and I would just focus on the future and build around Dyson Daniels, who's 22 years old, Jalen Johnson is 24, Kongu's still 25, and CJ is one of your vets. He probably won't be there long term, but free up cap space with him. Knockdown shooter. Luke Kennard, a nice knockdown shooter. Maybe you move off Ricochet, but I'm just not bringing in an injury-prone Anthony Davis. I don't think that moves the needle enough for the Hawks to be a contender on a year-to-year basis because you shorten that window if you give up some of your assets for Davis, and you're doing the Mavericks a favor by having them move off of an injury-prone guy, and they can still build around Cooper Flag. So if I'm Atlanta, keep this roster the way it is for now, currently. See what you get out of it, and then retool in the offseason by improving around the margins, and then hunt for a star talent in the future. Because if you look at the NBA right now, the most important part is to have depth because of the new CBA regulations. You need cheap contracts, and they need to be solid rotational pieces. They can't just be scrubs who just ride on the bench. You need to have 9 to 10 guys who can go out there and play good basketball. So I'm not looking at Anthony Davis. I'm not considering an older veteran to come in and save the day. It doesn't make any sense if you're the Hawks. So right now, I'm just going to stand pat. I'm going to look at the draft and find my next star player. That would be my strategy if I'm the Hawks, is build around this young core and see what you have in the next few seasons. And if you have an opportunity to land a superstar by then, and you're at the top of the Eastern Conference or like maybe a top 6 team, and you want to move the needle, make the move then. But I like the way this roster is constructed. I still think obviously they're going to need a point guard at some point, but you can get that in the draft. And again, you need contracts that are team friendly, where you don't have to worry about going to the second apron, and you need to build out this roster. They've got some nice pieces here, and they've got draft capital. Again, I'm not giving that up for an Anthony Davis because that doesn't make any sense to me. As long as Atlanta stays the course and they keep building around Jalen Johnson and they just have another good offseason where they can improve around the margins. Maybe Kristaps isn't going to work out for them because he's too injury prone. So you get him off your books and you just start over at the big man position, but you still got a Congo. Don't forget about him. He's solid. Then, yeah, I think the Hawks would be just fine. They still got flexibility here. They can go get a couple free agents this offseason. I think that would be a good idea. I don't think there's a lot of appealing names this year in 2026. However, you could still get some nice role players, and then you go from there. That's just my personal opinion about the Hawks situation. I know Shams reported that they're going to target Anthony Davis. I would just stay far away from that situation. Hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on the Trae Young trade to the Wizards. What would you do if you're the Wizards and the Hawks going forward to improve their rosters? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.